Today we have, good morning. Today we have last topic, that is of strength of material, and that is column. So column we have actually loaded member, and that is compression. Now we can have this member subjected to compressive force is called column or strut. Means compressive member we are going to classify into two types, one known as column and second as strut. If member is vertical compressive member, then is known as column, and if member is inclined, then that is called as strut. Load carrying capacity of this column or strut depends on the cross sectional area, its length and support conditions. So generally when we will talk about trusses, then we will come across struts, and when we will say RCC buildings, then generally we have these as columns. Now columns are again classified into two types considering their length. One long column and second we have short column. So length and area are so related that failures occurs mainly due to bending stress. So in long column we have failure due to bending stress, and if we will go to short column it is due to compressive stress. So in case of long columns it will act as flexural also, but in case of short column it is purely acts as axially loaded member, and therefore failure is by compressive stresses. In long column failure is due to bending stresses, and in short column it is due to compressive stress. Now we have actually two theories. There are number of theories. Euler's theory we have, Rankine's theory we have, Jordan formula we have. So 5-6 theories are there to analyze the columns, but generally problems in the competitive examination are based on Euler's and Rankine's theory. So we are going to cover these two theories, and our syllabus, if we will see SPPU, then we have Euler's theory and Rankine's theory. So now Euler's theory, so we have following assumptions. Assumptions generally we have same. If we will go bending stresses, then shear stresses. So many of the assumptions are same. The column is initially straight. Then we have cross section of column uniform. Then material should be homogeneous. Plane cross section remains plane after buckling also. Then stresses are within elastic limit. So these you can see, material homogeneous, then cross section same, then stresses within elastic limit, plane cross section remains plane. So these are we have everywhere along. Then the values of Young's modulus is same in compression and tension. So we have generally these 3-4 assumptions same everywhere. Then load is actually compressive. So we have these as some assumptions which we have to use while analyzing the columns. Now if we will go to the end conditions, and considering end conditions, columns are divided into four types. First, both ends of the column are hinged or pinned. This will be first. Then we have second, both ends of the column are fixed. First we have both ends hinged, second both end fixed, then one end fixed, other hinged, and then we have one end fixed and other free. So now we have these four cases we will come across, which columns we are broadly classified into four types according to the end conditions. Now we are going to derive only equation for both ends of the column are hinged or pinned. because in your competitive exams or in SPPU also, derivation rarely asked for these columns. Now we will derive equation for both ends of the column as hinged or pinned, and then you can derive remaining also. Just you have to change the end conditions and then you can derive for other conditions also. Now we will go first, both ends of the column are hinged or pinned. Now we will consider a column and P be the compressive force applied to the column. L be the length of the column, and that is shown in figure. Now if we will consider a section after buckling at a distance x from support A, and let we will consider y be the deflection at that distance x. Knowing this, we can write equation for bending moment, that is EI d2y by dx square equal to minus p into y, anti-clockwise moment. Therefore, we are taking minus p into y. If we simplify this, we will take right side value minus py to the left side and we will get plus py equal to 0. Now we will make it in terms of d2y by dx square so that we will get it as a differential equation in form of y, and we can have solution for differential equation. Therefore, we will divide whole equation by EI, and that will gives me d2y by dx square plus p by EI into y equal to 0. Now we have this is differential equation for y, and for this we have solution y is equal to c1 cos x root p upon EI plus c2 sin x root p upon EI. Now we have c1 and c2, we have two end conditions. Sorry, two constant of integration, and constant of integration we can find by substituting end conditions values, or we have end conditions, we will put accordingly, and that will gives me c1 and c2. So now we will substitute value of y and x at both end conditions. So if we will see at A, we have x equal to 0 and we have y equal to 0. If we will substitute this, then we are going to get c1 equal to 0. Because if we will put sin 0 is 0, so second term becomes 0. And here x is 0, so cos 0 is 1. Y is 0, so c1 is 0. Now we will put at end B. At end B, we have value of x equal to L, but we have y equal to 0. So now we have c1 0, so now we have only second term, that is y equal to c2 sin x root p upon EI. First term becomes 0 because we have x0 y0, and therefore c1 becomes 0, and therefore first term vanishes, and now my equation becomes y is equal to c2 sin x root p upon EI. Now if we will go to the second condition, that is at B, we have x equal to L, y equal to 0. Now if we will put it y equal to 0 and x equal to L, then we are going to get y equal to 0, c2 sin L root p upon EI. So now here we have in this fashion. Now we have c2 0, or we have sin of L root p upon EI 0. Either c2 or either sin term. But c2 cannot be 0. If c2 becomes 0, then we have y equal to 0 always. We are not going to get any equation. Therefore, c2 should not be 0. Then we have sin in bracket L root p upon EI equal to 0. So we have sin 0 equal to c2 sin L, but c2 should not be 0, and therefore we have sin L root p upon EI equal to 0. So now when we have sine of theta equal to 0, then we have theta equal to 0, theta equal to pi, 2 pi likewise. And now we will consider minimum of this. So we can write therefore L root p upon EI, and that is equal to 0, pi, 2 pi likewise. But we are not going to take value 0. If we will take 0, then sine 0 is always 0, and again our second term will vanish. So we will consider the minimum value which will not be 0, and that we have pi. So now I will get L root p upon EI equal to pi, because strength we have to consider always minimum. So we have therefore root p upon EI is equal to pi by L, because we have taken minimum value which is pi, and we have simplified it, we have rearranged the terms, and gives us value that is root p upon EI equal to pi upon L. Now if we again simplify it, then I will get it as p equal to pi square EI upon L square. So this is Euler's formula, and this Euler's formula is applicable for long columns. So now we have Euler's formula that is given PCR, that is critical load, pi square EI upon L effective square. Now L square we got, and we know our value of L is L in this case, and therefore we have pi square EI upon L effective square. Now already I mentioned we can derive the formula for critical load by using support conditions, but we are not going to derive for all, and we are going to see only the effective length, because by substituting effective length I will get PCR for that column having different load conditions. So now we have four end conditions, both end pinned, then both fixed, one end fixed, other pinned, and one end fixed, other free. So for these four conditions, we are going to see the L effective value and value of PCR. Now you can see over there. So we are going to prepare this table: serial number, end condition, effective length of column, critical load, and column with end conditions. Now we have first, this already we have seen, and this is actually both end pinned, and my formula is pi square EI upon L square. Now if we will go to the competitive exams, then that is GATE specially, so you have maximum questions which relate with your formulas of columns, because to solve the formula for GATE is difficult, and I come across very less questions when I will talk about IES. But in competitive MCQs, because it becomes easy to put the MCQs for these columns, and all generally you have one question in GATE on this column with end conditions. Now second, we have one end fixed and other end hinged. So we have this as L upon root 2, that is L effective value. Now if you will put this L by root 2 in PCR, then you will get L by root 2 whole square. So root 2 square 2, which will go in numerator because that is denominator of denominator, and we will get it as 2 pi square EI upon L square. Now you can see what is condition: one end fixed and other hinged. So you can see in the diagram, one fixed, other hinged. Now we will go to the third, where I have both ends fixed. When we have both ends fixed, then we have value L by 2. Now you can see, if you have one end pinned and one fixed, then you have L by root 2. Now try to understand this effective length, because you have to keep in mind only one formula PCR, then critical load formula you can find. So when both ends we have pinned, we have L, that is value 1. When we have one end fixed, other hinged, L by root 2. So if we will calculate this value, then that comes already approximately 0.71, 0.72 L. Now if we will go both end fixed, then your becomes L by root 2 into root 2. Now we made it both end fixed. So one end fixed you have root 2, and both end fixed you have root 2 into root 2. That is L by 2. If you substitute over there in PCR, then you will get that value as 4 pi square E upon L square, because L by 2, that is denominator. So 2 denominator of denominator goes numerator. You will get 4 pi square E upon L square. And fourth, when you have one end fixed, so you can see here both end fixed, we have column. Now last condition, we have one end fixed and other free, we have 2L. And we will get this formula as pi square E upon 4L square. So you can have this diagram, one end fixed, other free. So that we are going to say cantilever when we will talk about beams. So now these effective length, if we will keep in mind, which is easier one, or you can go for this also, pi square E upon L square, 2 pi square E upon L square, 4, and then we have 4 that is in denominator. So this table plays very important role. If we will go to any competitive examination, you have definitely one question on column, and that relate with your these values or these formulas. Now we will go what is limitation. So limitation, actually we have for this, we have this as long column, and for this we have limitations. So after which value this Euler's formula holds good, and that you can see. Now we have EI. What is I? That is moment of inertia, and we can write it in terms of radius of gyration. So we have I equal to AR square, where A is area and R is radius of gyration. So now PCR becomes pi square E AR square upon L effective square. Now we will take PCR upon A from right side, we will take left side, and that is in denominator. So I will get in this fashion. Now we have L effective upon R. So if we will go L by R, then that is known as L is effective length, R is radius of gyration, and that is known as lambda. And that lambda we have L by R, and that L by R we can write in terms of lambda, and that we are going to get in this fashion, pi square EI L effective upon R whole square, and that lambda we have ratio of L effective upon R, and that we are going to get over here, that is equal to pi square E upon lambda square. Now PCR upon A, that we are going to get it as compressive stress. P is compressive force and A is cross sectional area, so that is denoted by FCC. And then we have pi square E upon lambda square, and lambda is ratio of effective length to least radius of gyration, and where FCC elastic critical stress and lambda is slenderness ratio. So that is L effective upon R, that is known as lambda, which is known as slenderness ratio. Now this shows we should have lambda greater than or equal to. So we have simplified it, and in that case we will come across FCC, we will take downside, and when we have B, means if lambda is below this, then we have failure due to compressive stress, and above this then we have bending stress. Therefore my lambda value should be always greater than or equal to pi square E upon FCC. And now this is limitation of Euler's formula. Now we can find value of lambda, because in our SPPU this question you will come across. So we will consider a material and we will substitute the values for that material. So we have considered a mild steel, and we have generally mild steel FCC is 250, that is Fy, and E we have 200 GPa. So if we will put this, then we are going to get limitation of Euler's to mild steel, and that will use 88.86. So in most of the problem, most of the books, if you will see, then they are mentioned if lambda is greater than 90, so they have shifted 88.86 to 90, So if lambda is greater than or equal to 90, then only we can apply Euler's formula to the mild steel material. Otherwise, we do not use it. That not holds good. Or our results, we are not going to get correct results. So here we can see there, if lambda greater than 88.989, column fails by buckling and Euler's formula is applicable. But if it is less than 88.89, then it fails by crushing and Euler's formula is not applicable. So this is actually limitations, because Euler's formula is applicable for long column and that is not applicable for short column. We have another formula, that is Rankine's formula. Now this Rankine's formula is applicable to both, that is long column and as well as that is applicable to short column also. Now this overcomes difficulty to use of Euler's formula, because Euler's formula is applicable only for long columns. Now if you will see, this is empirical formula, and whenever we have empirical formula, we do not have your units on left and right same. So that you have already seen in your fluid mechanics, that homogeneity, we are going to say that is left unit and right units are same, then that formula is known as Dirac formula. And when left and right are not same, or we are going to get this as empirical formula. So that is dimensional homogeneity, we have something like this. So we have 1 upon PR equal to 1 by PC plus 1 by PE. So now in this, if we will see this, PR is Rankine's load, PC crushing load, PE we have Euler's column load. Now if we have column as long column, then our PE value is small. And if P is small, then we are going to get 1 by P as large, and therefore PR tends to PE, which is for your Euler's formula. And we have vice versa. If PE is large, then 1 by P is small, and then your Rankine's formula tends to your PC value. So we have this 1 upon PR equal to 1 by PC plus 1 by P, but we have simplified it, and that simplification you can see below. So here we have 1 by PR equal to 1 by PC plus 1 by P, and now we have taken LCM and we have simplified 1 by PR equal to P plus PC divided by PE into PC. Now we have taken denominator as numerator and numerator as denominator. So we have taken reciprocal of this, and that will give me PR equal to PC upon PE plus PC upon PE. So actually P upon PC, P into PC will go in numerator, and that gives me PE into PC divided by PE plus PC. Now whatever P is in numerator, that I have taken as denominator of denominator, and that will gives me P plus PC upon P, and which will gives me value of PR, that is 1 plus PC upon P. Now PC we know, that is sigma y into A. P we know, pi square EI upon lambda square or LE square, and we will substitute that values, and that will gives me sigma y A in upon pi square EI LE square. Now we know I we can write in terms of A, because we know I is equal to A into R square, that is area into radius of gyration square. And if I will put this, then we are going to get as sigma y into A 1 plus sigma y, and that AA, which is in denominator and denominator of denominator, that gets cancelled, and that R square we will again take, that is in denominator of LE, that will gives me LE upon R whole square, and that modifications gives me that as sigma y upon pi square E into LE upon R whole square. So we are with this equation, and this equation, that is your Rankine's constant. We have again a little bit modification, that is simplification, I will say. Sigma y upon pi square E, this is known as Rankine's constant, because sigma y for particular material is same, pi square is same, E is same. So this value is constant, and therefore sigma y upon pi square E, this is known as Rankine's constant, and we have this will be sigma y into A upon 1 plus A into lambda square, and that will gives me Rankine Rankine's formula. So we can have A, Rankine's constant, sigma y upon pi square E. Now we are with problems, 3-4 problems we are over here, and then we will stop. Now we will go first problem. Problems are very simple when we will talk about these columns, because in this we have to use only two formula. One formula we have, that is P equal to pi square E upon L E square, which is formula of your Euler's, and then we have Rankine's formula, which is sigma y into A upon 1 plus A into lambda square, where A we have Rankine's constant, which is equal to sigma y upon pi square E. So we have to use these formulas and then we have to solve the problems. So now we can have this problem, that is solid round bar 70 mm, 2.8 meter long, both ends we have hinged. Sorry, one end of the strut is fixed and the other is hinged, and we have to find a compressive load that can be carried by it. That means we have to find strength of this. So now what is given data? So we will go first given data. So given data we have here, that is D equal to 70 millimeter, we have L equal to 2800 millimeters. Always write down data in terms of millimeters and Newton millimeters, so that we need not require to commit any mistake while substituting values in your formula. Now from this we will directly go to the value of I, which is pi by 64, that is d to the power 4, and that will gives me value of I. Now knowing value of I, we are end condition, that is one end of the column is fixed and other end is hinged. Now when one end fixed, other hinge, so my formula I can directly use, that is PCR equal to 2 pi square EI upon L square. Now here we know, if you will remember, then my effective length is L upon root 2. And when it is L upon root 2, we have one end fixed, L by root 2, both end fixed, L by 2. So that you have to keep in mind. So we have 2 pi square EI upon L square, and now if you will put these values of EI and L, then you will get value of PE, and that value of PE we will get it as 623.9 into 10 raised to 3 newtons, which will be 623.9 kilonewton. So problems, if you will see, you have sometimes problems in gate also, directly values are given and you have to calculate value of PE. So Euler's formula you may have question in gate, that is for 2 marks. Now we will go to the second problem, and in second problem we have determine the ratio of the strength of a solid steel column to that of a hollow column. Now whenever values are not given, we are going to afraid of the problems. If values are given, then we are comfortable. But you always practice, we always practice in such a way that we will solve the problems which are not of the values. And if we have such problems, then in that case we are going to get our confidence will be built up. So now you can see, we have given data, we have material, we have area, we have length, and conditions of solid and hollow column are same. That is given. So as these are given, then we have to use this and then we have to solve the problems. So as we have length given, as our area is same, as our conditions are same, then it becomes easy to solve it. Now you can see, we will go step by step. So we have internal diameter is given, that is equal to half of external. So we have considered capital D be the diameter of the external diameter of the hollow column, and small d is internal diameter of the hollow column. So now we know this. So let us d suffix s be the diameter of the solid column. Then we will get a suffix s, that is area of solid column is pi by 4 into d square. If we will go to the hollow column, then we have pi by 4 d square minus d square. Now we know value of small d, we have that is equal to 0.5 d. Now if we substitute these values, then we are going to get pi by 4 d square minus 0.5 d whole square. Now if you solve this, then what we will get? Pi by 4 0.75 d square. So we have AH, this value, AS we have first equation. Now but given area is same. So I will equate AS equal to AH. And by equating this, we are going to get relationship between diameter of solid column to the external diameter of the hollow column. So once we got this relationship, then we can find easily ratio of the strength. So now you can see this pi by 4 ds square equal to pi by 4.75 d square, and that will gives me ds equal to 0.866 capital D, and that is relation between these two diameters. Now if we will go to these I values, then we have is pi by 64 ds to the power 4, but if we will go to ih, pi by 64 d4 minus d4. Now small d value we know, we have this value as 0.5 d, and then we will substitute this, and then we are going to get that in terms of capital D only, 0.9375 capital D to the power 4. Now we have PS upon PH. Now whatever it may be, both ends hinge, pin, fixed, anything. So formula is same, so that doesn't matter. So we have considered it, that is pi square E upon LE square. Now as LE we have same, so that gets cancelled. As pi square we have same, cancel. E cancel, but I will not be cancelled because our sections are different. And therefore PS upon PH, that is going to be simplified as IS upon IH. And now IS I know, IH I know, and we will substitute this IS upon IH, which will gives me ds to the power 4 upon 0.9375 d to the power 4. Now knowing these values, we are going to get this PS upon PH relationship. But now you can see I have value of ds. We have calculated this, that is 0.866 D, and now we will substitute that value as 0.866 D, so that your capital D gets cancelled, and that will gives me PS upon PH equal to 0.6. So try to understand the problem given. Once we are in position to correlate the data given, then we can solve the problems easily. Try to understand the data given. Once you know this, then remaining things are very simple. Now we will go to the next problem, that is problem number 3, which is based on your Rankine's constant, Rankine's formula. So we have to find, that is crippling load, sigma y is given, A is given, L is given, end condition is given, and we have to solve this. Now you can see we have this as D is given 100 mm, small d, capital D 100, small d 80, capital L 2500, sigma y 550 MPa, and then A 1 upon 1600. And now when we will go to the formula PR, sigma y A upon 1 plus sigma y pi square E LE by R square. So now we will calculate values one by one. So we have that A pi by 4 d square minus d square, which is required. So whatever required data, we will find that data. So we require data is area we require, sigma y is given, E is given. So LE we have to find out, R we have to find out, and then we have to substitute it. So pi by 400 square minus 80 square. So if we will substitute these values, then we are going to get this as 2.83 into 10 raised to 3 mm square. So we are going to get value of I. So now knowing value of I, we can go value of R. So we have R equal to this value, under root of I by A, and that will gives me 32.01 millimeters. Now if we will go to the next, so we are going to get LE upon R. So LE we have 2500. Actually I have considered here LE, that is for your both ends pinned. So actually this we have to reduce it as half, 1250. So I have not reduced it. I have taken LE for both ends pinned. So that we have to make actually half. So we will go with both ends pinned, and then we will have this value of lambda at 78.1. So lambda, once we got 78.1, then we can find this value. So that is PR. Keep in mind LE we have taken 2500, which is wrong actually. When we have both end fixed, that should be L by 2, and you have to put this as L by 2, so that becomes 2500 upon 2, 1250. But we have kept by mistake this value as 2500, so that you have to keep in mind. And then we have PR from this, and knowing this value of PR, we can find we have this strength of the column 323.44, because these all values we have keep in. So keep in mind LE effective length, we have committed mistake over here, that you have to actually correct. Now we will go to the next, where we have compared the crippling loads. Now we have compared crippling loads of the two, that is by using pi square your Euler's formula, and that is Rankine's formula. So now we have given data first. We have this data given. So A we have given E, given Fy, given L, D, and then we have area we have calculated, which is again pi by 4 d square minus d square. So then we have I, that is pi by 64 d4 minus d4. Then we have this value 52 into 10 raised to 3. Then we have R, which will be under root of I by A, and that will gives me value of R, and that value of R we have 13.29 millimeters. Now here we have again pin joints at both ends, means our L effective equal to L. Here we have same value of L. So we have calculated this R, and after R we have Euler's formula P equal to pi square EI upon L square. And if we will substitute this, then I will get value of P 10.53 into 10 raised to 3 newtons. Now we know this value of P, then we will go this value, that is PR. Now in PR we have all these values, sigma Y we know, A we know, E we know, LE we know, R we know. We will substitute all these values in this equation, and substituting values in this equation, calculated lambda over here, which is 240.78. Substituting these values, I will get value of PR equal to 10.25 into 10 raised to 3 Newton, that is 10.25 kilonewtons. So we have to go in this fashion, we have to compare this. Now if we will see, then we have both values are nearly same, because cross section is less. So now in this way we have to go for your they ask here, so what will be your lambda value? So if you will see the last part that was asked in the problem, and we have that part as, if elastic limit of material is 220 MPa, you can read last 3 lines, 2 lines better I can say. If elastic limit of the material is 220 MPa, below what length of strut does the Euler's formula cease to apply? And that we have to find out, which we have calculated, that is in last PPT. And here we have lambda greater than or equal to pi square E upon FCC, that we have seen limitations of Euler's formula. And if we will put lambda greater than or equal to 97.06, now LE by R, now LE that should be greater than or equal to 97.06, and that will use me LE, if LE is greater than 1.29 into 10 raised to 3 meters, that is 1.29 meters, then we can use Euler's formula. But if it goes below this, then we cannot use Euler's formula. So that is, we are going to seize it at 1.29 meters. So we have this, that is related with your columns. So we have now completed your columns, and